Hey there, Clashers, welcome back. Willie here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Yeti, and just recently Clash of Clans has released an update which introduced a slight nerf to the Yetis. So what was changed was the Yeti mites will no longer trigger traps. So it's a little bit of a buff to the Yeti mites because they're not going to be hitting those giant bombs, even though the Yeti mites themselves are pretty tanky, so it not going to make a big difference. The thing that's going to make a big difference in this change is the Yeti mites are no longer going to trigger the spring traps, so the Yetis themselves can hit the spring traps and get sprung off the map. Now, is this really a big deal nerf? Well, we're going to take a look at some attacks that support my opinion on this, but no, it was not a significant nerf. I mean, we still need to wait for the defensive meta to, I guess, catch up. But Yeti pathing can be extremely unpredictable from a defensive point of view. For example, if you can set your spring traps fairly easily to make sure you're getting the hog riders, because you know the hog riders are going to the defenses. Well, the Yetis can go to any building, so it's a lot harder to put the spring traps where you know the Yetis are going to be walking. However, they do have an overall increased chance to actually hit the spring traps, since the Yeti mites will not be triggering them and basically making them useless. So yes, it is a very slight nerf. Also in this update, there was a change to the Royal Champion. Call it a Royal Champion nerf or call it a cannon buff. I think it's more of a cannon buff because it doesn't necessarily directly impact the Royal Champion, but she is no longer going to one-shot max level cannons with her ability. So overall, it's kind of a nerf to ground attacks because the cannons will still be standing and able to get some shots off after the Royal Champion hits her ability and hits a couple of defenses. But again, this is a very minor change. I don't think we can expect to see a whole lot of change from that. But with all that being said, we're going to take a look at 3 different attacks with Yetis, 3 different attack styles, I should say. And I've got 2 examples here of each of the styles of attacks. Now, a lot of these are Earthquake based. Over here in Relic, and we are seeing a lot of 8 Earthquake attacks. So let's go ahead and jump into some of these replays, and we will see just how strong the Yeti attacks are right now. So we are going to start off on the lower part of the map and work our way up. And we are also going to start off with the P.E.K.K.A. Yeti attacks. Kind of the standard thing that we are used to seeing at this point. So starting off pretty typically here, we're going to have the Warden Walk funneling one end of the attack. The other end is going to be funneled with the Siege Barracks. And then the P.E.K.K.A.s and the Yetis will be sent right on down the middle of the base. Everything will group up and we will see them push right on through. So we're going to be looking at a few different things with these attacks. Well, first of all, we're just going to be looking at how these attacks are being done. This one being done pretty much the same way. If you're someone who's still trying to figure out how to use the Yetis, these attack replays should be pretty helpful to you. We're also going to be looking at the impact of the spring traps during these attacks, if they're flinging Yetis, and how badly that's slowing down the Yetis being tossed off the map. So going in pretty smoothly here, funnel was very well done. Everything's right in the middle of the base. Of course, he got that jump spell to put everything in with that eagle in the compartment there. And next he's going to drop the Earthquake spells. That's going to open up the rest of the base. He does that late because he is activating the Town Hall, and he doesn't want to activate the Town Hall any sooner than he has to. So the Town Hall is active, everything is opened up in the core of the base, hits the Warden's ability, Town Hall goes down, and now the Queen is going down as well. He does have a scatter shot right there and some expos firing, so a lot of damage coming into that compartment. The Warden's ability did wear off after the scatter shot went down, so huge value on the timing of that ability there. Now the middle of the base is cleared out, and he's got to work through these compartments now. He did send the Royal Champion in over here to start working on those defenses, and she's going to be able to work her way around. The Queen is coming down through now. She does still have her ability. She's helping clean out these compartments as well. She's taking down that Inferno Tower, going to have to hit her ability there. So down goes the Inferno Tower. Looks like he's got a Yeti over here with a P.E.K.K.A. He still has a backpack full of Yeti mites as well. I think he's got one more Yeti over here, yeah, and those are the only 2 Yetis left, but he's still got a lot of firepower left on this base. All of the heroes are alive, except the Queen. I believe she just went down. And he's still got a P.E.K.K.A. over here, and it looks like pretty much a full health Yeti. So definitely smash through this base. Of course, he does have some lower level things defensive-wise on this base, but still very nicely done with the Yetis. Alright, so we do have one more P.E.K.K.A. Yeti attack here. This time not funneling with the Warden, instead going to funnel with a Baby Dragon and a couple of P.E.K.K.A.s. Actually, I think he sends the Siege Barracks down on this side. Still a couple of P.E.K.K.A.s though, but Siege Barracks is a little bit different. So there's the P.E.K.K.A. on the side, there's the Siege Barracks. Now he's got the jump spell, that's going to put everything right into the Town Hall once the funnel is established. And notice he dropped those quakes so that everything in the middle is open, but he did not activate the Town Hall, so perfect placement on the earthquake spells there. So the Town Hall is activated, the CC is lured, poison's down, going to have to use that Warden ability, there it is. So everything's moving right on into the core and looking great so far. So he's got all those Yetis into the base, nothing has been sprung up with the spring traps yet. So no problems there. Hog Riders coming out of the Siege Barracks. Again, that's typical with these P.E.K.K.A. Yeti attacks. Now if this were just a P.E.K.K.A. smash, this would be looking very bad on the back end of the attack. He's got a lot of defenses over the walls, but he's got the Royal Champions, and this is where the Yeti Mites really shine. So they're hopping over the walls and helping to get these defenses taken out. As you can see over here, that Inferno Tower goes down to the Yeti Mites, and these Yetis still have a bunch of Yeti Mites in their little backpacks there. So the Yetis are definitely still very strong, taking care of the back end of this base, no problem at all. So the Royal Champion is getting low in health, she's going to take down that Archer Tower, and then that's going to be about it for her. A couple of Teslas here on the backside and a cannon. She got the cannon down as well. He still has 3 P.E.K.K.A.s on the field down here, a whole lot of wizards, still has some things in his camps that he can drop to help clean up these troops, or clean up these buildings rather. And the Queen does have her ability, she's going to help get through these buildings as well, and this base is pretty well smashed at this point. Again, this is a lower level Town Hall 13, and we will get a couple of replays of some stronger defenses, but still, this is not a bad Town Hall 13, it's not rushed or anything. So Yeti's still definitely able to take care of business here when paired up with the P.E.K.K.A. Nothing has changed with the attack, and nothing is changing on defense. Okay, next we're going to take a look at an attack that's a little more out of the box than at least what I'm used to seeing. This is just a mass Yeti with a bunch of earthquake spells. So he's going to use 8 earthquakes to pop this base wide open and then send in a bunch of Yetis. So this will be a good example of basically just the raw power of the Yetis pushing through the base. Again, we'll watch and see how he does it, and we'll watch and see if the spring traps in the base have much effect. Again, not a max defense base, but still a pretty decent base as far as defensive strength goes. So there's the first set of earthquakes. Now he's opening up the second set, and not only does he have the earthquakes, he also has a jump spell. So basically all of the spells except for the rage are dedicated to just opening the walls on this base. Other than that, the Yetis don't need much in terms of spells. At least that's what I'm seeing so far. So he does have a couple of balloons and a lava hound coming out of the CC. All he did was drop a couple of Yetis on either side here, and then send the rest right down the middle with the Siege Barracks and the heroes. I believe he does have Hog Riders once again coming out of the Siege Barracks once the wizards are done. So Town Hall is activated. He's going to hit the Warden's ability there, and he gets it down just as the Town Hall blows up. Yeti Mites are starting to go and take down all those defenses over there, so he has a lot of the base over here taken out already. Funnel is not quite where it needed to be to get the Yetis to go inside. It looks like the King is drawing them over. Now he's got to deal with those lava pups up there. He did have Yetis, of course, and a couple of heroes go into the middle of the base. Now he's got those Hog Riders starting to come in and go towards some of these defenses. They did scatter a bit because of the placement of the Siege Barracks, but that is not going to be a big deal. The Queen is down here. She's got her ability. She's going to be able to get some things taken care of. The Yetis have grouped up over here on this side of the base, and they're going to work their way around. Royal Champion also working her way around, and the Hog Riders are going to tank for her for at least a little bit here before they get taken out. It looks like he's got a Yeti Mite hopping along as well. That's going to help get some damage on some of these defenses. So the Royal Champion goes down. The Hogs finally go down. It looks like they did find a spring trap. I haven't seen anything else for the Yetis getting hit with springs, but they also all avoided pretty much the whole middle of the base. I think the King and maybe 1 or 2 Yetis went into the middle. Everything else went around, and still he's able to get this 3-star. The Queen just used her ability. She's going to be going down to the Inferno Tower once she moves back over there. But he's still got a whole lot of wizards. He's got the Warden, and of course, I think maybe 5 Yetis. I can't really tell. They're all kind of piled up on top of each other. But they've all still got those Yeti mites as well. And this is a triple. So one more of these mass Yeti attacks with the 8 earthquakes, and again we'll see the earthquakes come down early. They're going to crack the base wide open, and on this side the walls weren't even connected, so it's already opened up on that side. And Jake is just going to send the Yetis basically in a line, sends in the siege barracks, all the heroes, everything just right down the middle. So the Yetis working on the edges and working in, and here comes the CC. He's got 3 ice golems to deal with. That's a very common defensive CC that we're seeing right now, and I'm not surprised that we're starting to see more air attacks pop up because of that. But in the meantime, it looks like the Yetis over on this side are all going to walk down the outside of the base, and the same thing is going on over here. He does have some Yetis and some P.E.K.K.A.s going inside the base with the heroes though, so that is good. And he's got to get those scatter shots down as well as the eagle. Looks like a wizard's actually going to step up and take the eagle out over here. So the eagle's going down, the queen's over here with this group of Yetis, and then it's just one more Yeti on the outside over there. He does have a P.E.K.K.A. and an ice golem going in. The royal champion is down. It looks like the king is down as well. But no, the king's up here actually. So the king's still working through. He's got a lot of Yetis working around the outside of the base over here. The queen's doing her thing over here, working on the wall. She is going to break in and help get that Inferno Tower down. So there she goes, hits her ability, Inferno Tower is down. So this Inferno is also going down. The P.E.K.K.A. is distracted on some skeletons, it looks like. So he's got to work through that. The queen's working through this wall. She's going to be able to go over here, help finish up some of these defenses, and this base is smashed. So the funnel wasn't ideal. The Yetis all basically went around the outside except a couple, and yet it did not make a difference. They were able to smash through for the triple. Alright, so the next style of attack we're going to look at is basically just the Yeti smash. So we do have the healers this time and some bowlers to support. Again, we've got the 8 earthquakes though, so we will see that as a bit of a common theme with the rest of the attacks. And starting off with the queen charge, or queen walk down here on the south side, basically just getting the funnel established with the queen. Unfortunately, putting the healers right in range, so he loses. I think he lost 1 healer. Not too big of a deal. The Yetis are going to go straight into the base, so this time we will see the Yetis actually in the core of the base. And it looks like he's got a couple of balloons to deal with some ice golems coming out of the CC. I do see a witch in there as well, and he's got to deal with that enemy royal champion. So a lot going on in there. He does have the poison down, and it looks like he had an ice golem burst as well, helping hold things up while the poison works. He's got the enemy queen in there as well. Enemy queen just goes down to the king, and now the whole group of Yetis is working right on into the core here. He's got to get that scatter shot down, and these infernos as well. They're going to be working on those Yeti mites as they hop out. So 2 of those big defenses are down. Now they're going to start working their way over here to the last little group of defenses. They're not going to be able to quite get it down. He does still have a bit of a queen walk going on the outside over here. So even though he lost 1 or 2 healers at the beginning, the healers never switched over to the Yetis, and that's what gives the Yeti smash or the P.E.K.K.A. Yeti attacks their strength, is getting those healers to switch over to the Yetis. Otherwise, like in this attack, they all die and they don't make it through to the end of the attack. But of course, in this attack, it's not going to make a difference. He's still got 2 P.E.K.K.A.s. Looks like they're about at full health. He's still got a queen walk going around. She's going to get some more things done before she goes down as well. So things are starting to wrap up here. The P.E.K.K.A.s are going to work through that archer tower. And the queen's getting low. She is going to go down. But he's still got the warden, still got the P.E.K.K.A.s. And they are going to be more than enough to get through this base. So you can see the P.E.K.K.A.s are still at full health, and he's got the healers to switch on them now. Not going to matter as the attack is done. Alright, so this will be the last replay of this recap, and we've got a base here with closer to max defenses, pretty much everything but some cannons and maybe Teslas, and of course he's got single target infernos. So recently Itsu had released a video about how Yetis and single target Infernos are not a good mix. Well, we're going to see in this video that they mix just fine. So of course, he got the base opened up with those 8 earthquakes, and now he's got the Warden Wall coming in from the top side, getting everything funneled towards that, basically the middle of the base. There's nothing left for walls except around the edges, and now he's got the siege barracks and he's got the Yetis lined up, so he's going to have some go around the outside and then some are going to go with the heroes right down the middle. And he's got the town hall down, hit the warden's ability, and everything's going to start working in. He does have some witches, and I think he had an ice golem there out of the CC to deal with. Got that out of the way fairly quickly, and now he's got the first single Inferno going down with the help of some wizards. For whatever reason, that wizard was in that compartment there. He is losing his bowlers fairly early. Looks like he had another P.E.K.K.A. and Ice Golem out of the siege barracks as well. So they're working around the top side. He's got a whole bunch of Yetis working down the bottom side, and then mostly just the heroes working through the middle of the base. But they do have the healers, and it looks like they've got an Ice Golem now to also help out. So Ice Golem hits a spring trap in there, freezes things up, and the Queen's going to keep on working through. The Royal Champion still has her ability as well, working through those defenses. One Hog Rider came out of the siege barracks and it's still working around. It finally goes down. Royal Champion hits her ability, and now she's going to work through these last few defenses. So he's still got a lot of Yetis up, and he's got all 4 heroes alive, and the Queen still has her ability. So even though the defenses weren't quite max, this base was absolutely smashed. So with those replays, considering how many troops were left over, especially in that last attack, even if those bases were completely max on defense, which that last one was fairly close anyway, it still would have been a triple. So was this so-called nerf going to make a big difference? Probably not. Are Yetis still overpowered? Absolutely. But if any of you are using Yetis and you think that they have been impacted by the nerf, then let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up and be sure to click subscribe to see more Clash of Clans content from me. Thank you all for stopping by, and I will see you guys next time.